Let me tell you about the Sunday that almost ended my marriage, got my mother-in-law speaking in tongues at First Baptist, and taught me more about family than any sermon ever could. My name is Maya Thompson. I'm 32 years old, married to the love of my life, Marcus, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had this whole good daughter-in-law thing figured out. I was dead wrong. See, I need you to understand something right off the bat. My mother-in-law, Diane Thompson, is what you'd call a pillar of the community. This woman has been the head of the church usher board for 15 years. She coordinates the annual Christmas pageant. She runs the bake sale that funds the youth ministry. When people in our neighborhood think of a good Christian woman, they think of Diane Thompson. The woman irons her dish towels. She wears white gloves to service. She's never said a curse word in her entire 63 years of life. And I'm including dang and shoot in that count. And me? Well, I'm the daughter-in-law who showed up to the family wearing ripped jeans and a nose ring. The one who forgot to bring a covered dish to the repast after Uncle Willie's funeral. The one who suggested we skip Easter service one year because Marcus and I wanted to go to Coachella. Yeah, that went over like a lead balloon. But here's the thing. I loved Marcus more than anything in this world. We met at Howard University when I was a junior, and he was getting his MBA. He was smart, funny, fine as all get out, and he treated me like I was the only woman on campus. When he proposed 2 years later on the steps of Founders Library, I said yes before he even finished asking. The problem was, I wasn't just marrying Marcus. I was marrying into the Thompson family, and the Thompson family came with Diane. Don't get me wrong. Diane wasn't cruel. She wasn't mean. She was just very particular about how things should be done. And somehow, I never seemed to do them right. My greens were too salty. My cornbread was too dry. I didn't fold the towels correctly. I used the wrong detergent. I didn't know you were supposed to put a bay leaf in the beans. Who knew bay leaves were that important to family harmony? Marcus would always defend me. Ma, leave her alone. She's doing her best. But I could see it in Diane's eyes. That little flicker of disappointment every time I messed something up. That tiny sigh when I showed up to Sunday dinner without having called ahead to ask what I could bring. After 5 years of marriage, I was tired. Tired of trying to measure up. Tired of feeling like I wasn't good enough. Tired of walking on eggshells every time we visited Marcus's mama. And that's where the Brownies come in. Now, before you judge me, let me explain. I have chronic anxiety. Have had it since college. My therapist, Dr. Jenkins, a wonderful black woman who understood exactly what I was going through, had suggested I try medical marijuana to help manage my symptoms. This was after years of trying different medications that either didn't work or made me feel like a zombie. So I got my medical card. It was all legal, all prescribed, all above board. And honestly, it helped. The edibles especially. Just a small dose in the evening helped me relax, helped me sleep, helped me not spiral into panic attacks about whether I was a good enough wife, daughter-in-law, woman. I kept them in a special container in the back of our freezer, clearly labeled, Maya's medicine, do not eat. I'd even put a little skull and crossbones sticker on it for extra measure. Marcus knew about them. He was supportive. He'd even tried one once and spent the whole evening giggling at a nature documentary about penguins. Everything was fine until the Sunday Diane decided to drop by unannounced. Let me paint the picture for you. It's a beautiful Sunday morning in April. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Marcus and I are getting ready for 11 o'clock service at First Baptist. I'm in the bedroom putting on my church dress, the conservative navy blue one that Diane bought me for my birthday, when I hear the front door open. Yoo-hoo, it's just me. My heart dropped into my stomach. Only one person in the world had a key to our house and used yoo-hoo as a greeting. I rushed out of the bedroom, still in my slip and pantyhose, to find Diane standing in our living room in her Sunday best. She was wearing a cream-colored suit with matching shoes and purse, her church hat perched perfectly on her freshly styled hair. She looked like she'd just stepped out of a fashion show for sophisticated black grandmothers. Diane, hi, we weren't expecting you. Oh, I know, baby, but I was in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd stop by to see if you two wanted to ride to church together. You know, save on gas. Plus, Pastor Jenkins is doing a special sermon today on family unity, and I thought it would be nice if we all sat together. Marcus came out of the bathroom, still buttoning his shirt. Hey, Ma. Yeah, we can definitely ride together. Just give us 10 minutes to finish getting ready. Oh, take your time, baby. I'll just wait right here. Diane settled herself on our couch, crossing her ankles delicately. Then her nose twitched. Maya, is something burning? My blood turned to ice. The brownies. I had made a fresh batch the night before. They were cooling on the counter, and I hadn't put them away yet, because I wanted them to reach room temperature before I stored them. They were sitting right there in the kitchen, on a plate, looking like perfectly innocent, delicious brownies. Oh, no, nothing's burning. I made brownies last night. They're just regular brownies. That was my first mistake. Never tell Diane Thompson about baked goods in your house. The woman has a sweet tooth that could rival Willy Wonka. Brownies? Oh, how lovely. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning. Do you mind if I have one? Actually, Diane, those brownies are from Marcus's office. I promised I'd bring them in for his team tomorrow. Let me make you some toast or something. But it was too late. Diane was already up and heading toward the kitchen like a woman on a mission. I ran after her, my pantyhose making swishing sounds with each step, but I wasn't fast enough. By the time I got to the kitchen, Diane had already picked up one of the larger brownies and taken a bite. Oh my goodness, Maya. These are delicious. So fudgy and rich. What's your secret? I stood there, frozen, watching my mother-in-law eat my medicated brownie. My mind was racing through all the possible outcomes of this situation, and none of them were good. Diane, how much of that did you eat? Just this piece, baby. Why? You want me to save you one? She laughed and took another bite. I did some quick mental math. Each brownie had about 10 milligrams in it. For someone with no tolerance, that was a lot. For someone who'd never had any in their life, that was a whole different level. Marcus walked into the kitchen, saw his mother eating a brownie, saw my face, and immediately put 2 and 2 together. Ma, maybe you should put that down. Why? It's delicious. Ma, those aren't regular brownies. Diane looked at the brownie in her hand, then at me, then at Marcus. What do you mean they're not regular brownies? They taste regular. I took a deep breath. Diane, those brownies have medicine in them. Medicine that I take for my anxiety. Medicine that's going to make you feel very different in about 30 to 45 minutes. The brownie fell out of Diane's hand onto the kitchen floor. Her eyes got wide. Her mouth fell open. For a solid 10 seconds, she just stared at me. Then she found her voice. Medicine? What kind of medicine? Maya Thompson, are you telling me you just gave me drugs? I didn't give them to you. You took them yourself. And it's prescribed medicine. It's legal. I have a card and everything. Legal? Legal? Diane's voice was rising. Girl, are you telling me you've been keeping marijuana in your house? In the house where my son lives? Marcus stepped between us. Ma, calm down. It's medical marijuana. Her doctor prescribed it. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it? Nothing wrong with it? Diane was pacing now, wringing her hands. I'm about to go to church. I'm supposed to usher today. I'm supposed to stand at the back of the sanctuary and greet people and hand out programs and look presentable, and you're telling me I just ate marijuana? I tried to be helpful. Well, technically, you probably won't feel anything for at least another 30 minutes, so you could still make it through the opening hymn. That was the wrong thing to say. The opening hymn? The opening hymn? Diane grabbed her purse. I need to go home. I need to drink water. I need to call my doctor. I need to lie down. I need to pray. Ma, you can't drive right now. Just sit down. It's going to be okay. But Diane wasn't hearing it. She headed toward the door, moving with the kind of determined panic that only a church mother who thinks she's about to get high can muster. Marcus grabbed his car keys. I'll drive her home. No. Diane spun around. I'm not going anywhere with either of you drug dealers. Ma, don't ma me, Marcus. I raised you better than this. I took you to church every Sunday. I made sure you knew right from wrong. And now you're living in a house full of marijuana brownies, like some kind of hippie. I tried again. Diane, I promise you, it's going to be fine. Just sit down. Let me get you some water. We'll skip church today and make sure you're okay. Skip church? Skip church? Diane looked at me like I'd suggested we go rob a bank. I have never missed a Sunday service in 40 years. I'm not about to start now, just because my daughter-in-law decided to poison me. And with that, she marched out the door. Marcus and I looked at each other. Should we go after her? She's not going to listen to us right now. Let's just get dressed and follow her to church. We can keep an eye on her there. 20 minutes later, we were pulling into the First Baptist parking lot. Diane's car was already there, parked in her usual spot near the side entrance where the ushers gathered before service. We could see her through the window, standing with the other ushers, gesturing animatedly as she talked. "Oh no," Marcus muttered. "She's telling them what happened." We rushed inside just in time to hear Diane say to Sister Roberta, the head usher, "And these brownies were just sitting there on the counter, looking innocent, and I had no idea what I was putting in my body." Sister Roberta, a woman in her 70s who'd been friends with Diane since they were both young mothers, patted Diane's arm sympathetically. "Well, baby, how do you feel right now?" "I feel fine, but Maya said it takes 30 to 45 minutes. Roberta, what if it hits me during service? What if I'm standing at the back of the church and I start seeing things? What if I fall out?" "Now, Diane, you're not going to fall out. Just stay calm. Drink some water. We'll keep an eye on you." I approached cautiously. "Diane, I really think you should go home and rest." She turned to look at me, and if looks could kill, I would have been struck down right there in the church vestibule. "I told you, I don't miss Sunday service. I'm going to stand at my post and do my duty. And I'm going to pray that the Lord forgives you for what you've done." The service started right on time. Marcus and I slid into a pew near the back so we could watch Diane. She took her position at the door, looking professional and composed in her cream suit, program pamphlets in hand, a smile fixed on her face. For the first 20 minutes, everything seemed fine. Diane greeted people as they came in late. She handed out programs. She nodded along with the choir's opening selection. Then, right around the 35-minute mark, I saw it, a slight wobble. Diane reached out and steadied herself against the doorframe. Her eyes got a little wider. She blinked several times, like she was trying to focus. Marcus saw it too. "Oh Lord." Sister Roberta noticed and walked over to Diane, whispering something. Diane shook her head firmly, but I could see her swaying slightly. Pastor Jenkins took his position at the pulpit and began his sermon on family unity. "Brothers and sisters, family is the foundation of our community. Family is where we learn to love, to forgive, to support one another through trials and tribulations." In the back, Diane was now leaning heavily against the wall. Her church hat was slightly askew. She was staring at the stained glass window like it was the most fascinating thing she'd ever seen in her life. "Sister Diane," Pastor Jenkins called out, noticing her odd posture. "Are you all right?" Every head in the church turned to look at Diane. She straightened up immediately, trying to look normal. "Yes, Pastor. I'm wonderful, blessed and highly favored." But her voice was a little too loud, a little too enthusiastic. Pastor Jenkins continued his sermon. "As I was saying, family requires us to extend grace to one another, even when we disagree, even when someone makes a mistake that affects us." Diane suddenly laughed, not a quiet chuckle, but a full, loud laugh that echoed through the sanctuary. Everyone turned to stare again. "I'm sorry, Pastor," Diane said, still giggling. "That stained glass window just looked so funny for a second. Did y'all know Jesus has 7 fingers in that picture? I never noticed that before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count 'em." Sister Roberta rushed over and tried to guide Diane toward a seat, but Diane wasn't having it. No, I'm fine. I'm better than fine. I'm blessed. You know what? I just want to say something. She walked toward the front of the church, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor, her hat now definitely crooked. Marcus grabbed my hand. This is bad. Pastor Jenkins looked concerned. Sister Diane, maybe you should sit down. No, Pastor, I need to say this. I need to tell everyone here that I have the best family in the world. Do you hear me? The best family. Even when they make brownies that are not what they seem, they're still my family, and I love them. A confused murmur ran through the congregation. Diane continued, now standing right in front of the pulpit. My daughter-in-law, Maya, is back there. Stand up, Maya. I sank lower in my seat. Stand up, baby. Don't be shy. Marcus gently pulled me to my feet. Every eye in the church was on me now. That's my daughter-in-law. And you know what? She's been trying so hard to be perfect, trying to make the perfect greens, the perfect cornbread, trying to do everything the way I do it. And I haven't been fair to her. I haven't been kind. I've been critical and judgmental and acted like my way is the only way. My mouth fell open. This was not what I expected. Diane, Pastor Jenkins said gently, maybe we should take a break. No, Pastor, this is important. This is what your sermon is about, right? Family? Grace? Well, I haven't been giving my daughter-in-law grace. I've been giving her grief. And today, she accidentally gave me something that made me feel very strange. But you know what? It also made me see clearly for the first time in years. Sister Roberta was now openly laughing, along with several other members of the congregation who had figured out what was happening. I've been holding on to this idea of the perfect family, the perfect daughter-in-law, the perfect everything. But perfection isn't real. You know what's real? Love, forgiveness, accepting people for who they are. Diane was now crying and laughing at the same time. Maya, baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't good enough. Your greens are perfect. Your cornbread is perfect. You are perfect. I was crying too now. So was Marcus. Half the church was crying. Pastor Jenkins, bless his heart, tried to regain control. Well, Sister Diane, that was a very moving testimony. Why don't we all take a moment to pray for families and for understanding? But Diane wasn't done. You know what else? These pews are so uncomfortable. How long have we been sitting on these hard pews? Has anyone ever mentioned this? We should get some cushions. I'm going to start a fundraiser for pew cushions. Sister Roberta finally managed to guide Diane to a seat in the front row, where she sat down heavily, still crying and smiling. Pastor Jenkins wisely decided to end the service early. Brothers and sisters, I think the Lord has given us our message for today through Sister Diane. Sometimes the truth comes to us in unexpected ways. Let us all go home and reflect on how we can show more grace to our family members. Church dismissed. The congregation filed out, many people stopping to hug Diane or squeeze her hand. A few brave souls asked me what was in those brownies, and I just smiled and kept walking. We got Diane home and settled on her couch with water and snacks. Marcus sat beside her, holding her hand, while I paced nervously in the kitchen. After about an hour, Diane's high started to wear off. She became more lucid, more herself. When she finally made eye contact with me, I braced for the anger, the disappointment, the lectures. Instead, she patted the couch next to her. Maya, baby, come sit down. I sat, leaving a respectful distance between us. First of all, Diane said slowly, I want to apologize for eating your brownies without asking. That was wrong of me. Diane, I should have put them away. I should have labeled them better. This whole thing is my fault. Hush. Let me finish. She took a deep breath. Everything I said in church today, I meant it. Maybe I needed those brownies to help me say what I've been too proud to admit for years. I've been hard on you. Too hard. I had this image in my head of what a daughter-in-law should be, and I tried to force you into that mold instead of accepting you for who you are. You were just trying to help. No, baby. I was trying to control. There's a difference. She reached over and took my hand. You make my son happy. I see the way he lights up when you walk into a room. I see how he laughs more, smiles more, lives more because of you. That should have been enough for me. You should have been enough for me. Now I was really crying. I just wanted you to like me. I do like you, Maya. I love you. I've loved you since the day Marcus brought you home. I was just too stubborn and set in my ways to show it properly. She squeezed my hand. And these brownies you take for your anxiety, they're medicine. There's no shame in taking medicine when you need it. I take blood pressure pills every day. How is this different? Marcus, who had been quietly watching this exchange, spoke up. Ma, are you sure you're okay? Do we need to call a doctor? Diane laughed. A real laugh this time. Not the manic giggling from church. Baby, I'm fine. In fact, I feel better than I have in years. Those brownies made me relaxed, made me happy, made me say things I should have said a long time ago. Maybe I needed to be a little high, to be honest. We all laughed at that. But Maya, Diane continued, her voice getting serious, you keep those brownies in a locked container from now on, you hear me? I'm not trying to accidentally eat them again. Once is enough. Already ordered a lockbox online, I said. Should be here by Tuesday. Over the next few weeks, something shifted in our relationship. Diane started calling before she came over. She stopped criticizing my cooking. She even asked me to teach her how to make my famous cornbread, which, it turned out, she actually loved but had been too proud to admit. We started having coffee together on Wednesday mornings, just the two of us. She told me stories about raising Marcus, about her own struggles with her mother-in-law, about the pressure she felt to be perfect all the time. You know what being high taught me? She said one morning, stirring sugar into her coffee. Life's too short to worry so much about what other people think, even people in church, especially people in church. What about the ushers? Are they still talking about it? Diane grinned. Oh, honey, they won't let me forget it. Sister Roberta brings it up at least once a week. But you know what? I can laugh about it now. It's a good story. Plus, we did end up getting those pew cushions I suggested. 23 people donated, and we installed them last month. Most comfortable service we've had in years. The Sunday after the brownie incident became legendary at First Baptist. People still ask Diane about her special sermon. Pastor Jenkins even referenced it a month later in a message about being authentic in our faith. Sometimes, he said from the pulpit, God uses the most unexpected situations to reveal truth to us. Sister Diane's spontaneous testimony reminded us that grace, honesty, and love are more important than maintaining appearances. As for me and Marcus, our marriage got stronger. Watching his mother accept me for who I was, watching her let go of her need for control and perfection, it changed something in both of us. We stopped trying so hard to be the perfect couple and started just being us. I still make my special brownies. They still help with my anxiety. But now they're in a locked box in the back of the freezer, with 3 different labels warning people not to eat them. Diane jokes that she doesn't need to eat them anymore anyway. That one time was enough for a lifetime, she says. But it was the most educational brownie I ever had. Marcus loves to tell the story at family gatherings. Remember that time Ma got high and gave a sermon about pew cushions? And Diane, to her credit, laughs every single time. The real lesson, though, the one I think about whenever I'm feeling anxious or worried about measuring up, came from something Diane said to me a few months after the incident. We were sitting in her backyard, watching the sunset, drinking sweet tea. Out of nowhere, she said, "You know, Maya, I spent so many years trying to be the perfect church mother, the perfect woman. And all it did was make me rigid and hard and judgmental. Those brownies didn't just make me high, they made me human again. They reminded me that it's okay to be imperfect, to make mistakes, to not have all the answers." She turned to look at me, her eyes soft and kind. "Thank you for that gift, even if you didn't mean to give it to me." I hugged her then, really hugged her. Not the polite church hug we used to do, but a real embrace between two women who understood each other. I love you, Diane. I love you too, baby. And your brownies. But I love you more. So that's the story of how my mother-in-law ate my special brownies before church, gave an unplanned sermon on grace and pew cushions, and ended up becoming one of my closest friends and biggest supporters. Sometimes the most embarrassing moments turn into the most meaningful ones. Sometimes the biggest disasters become the best blessings. And sometimes, just sometimes, a little bit of honestly, even if it comes from an unexpected source, is exactly what a family needs to heal. Now, every year on the anniversary of what we call the Brownie Sunday, Diane, Marcus, and I have dinner together. We eat regular brownies, the kind that won't make you see 7 fingers on Jesus, and we laugh about that chaotic morning that changed everything. Diane always raises her glass of sweet tea and makes the same toast to family, to forgiveness, and to always reading the label before you eat something. And we all say, Amen. Because at the end of the day, that's what family is. It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing everything right. It's about showing up, messing up, and loving each other through it all. Even when someone accidentally gets high before church, especially when someone accidentally gets high before church. Like this video if it touched something in you. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories about what it means to be human, to be family, and to choose love even when it's complicated. I'll see you next time.